Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another live English lesson with me. My name is Shelly. If you don't know who I am, if you do know who I am, then welcome back. We didn't do a live lesson this week on Monday. It was a public holiday here in Japan, and I was out and about. But I'm back like usual on my Thursday. Every Thursday, I will do a live lesson. So, welcome back. Today, we have a great one for you. We are going to be focusing on the verb have to. Have to is our main thing we're going to focus, as I just lost my lighting there for a sec, but now it's back. So we're going to be looking at have to, and we're going to start off using this lesson or doing this lesson in kind of a beginner's sense. So it's not going to be that difficult to begin with, but we'll progressively get a little bit more difficult. And then eventually we'll get to kind of like the intermediate level. But this is definitely a good lesson for anyone, especially for any beginners out there who, want to be able to speak English a little bit more fluently, a little bit faster. And if you want to learn how to use have to, which is so commonly used. It's probably like one of the top 5 verbs we use in English. So knowing how to use have and have to is really, really important. I'm having some technical problems with my lighting, so I'm going to move one light to just behind it. Okay, so as always, I'm going to put the lesson onto the screen. It's right there. Fightybors, hi, how are you? How are you? How's it going? How was your day today? Hopefully it went well. I'm just adjusting all my lights here. One of my lights over here just keeps shutting off for some reason. We're going to be focusing on have to. And the first thing I want to focus on is just pronunciation. It's so important that when we speak English, that we try to speak it with the same pronunciation that a native English speaker speaks. But more importantly, it's important that you understand the pronunciation because that's how we speak. So it's important that you learn the listening aspect of it. Life is rolling and rolling. I hear you. I hear you. It just continues to roll whether we like it or not. But I guess that's good. That's good. It's better if it's rolling than not. Life's like a roller coaster, but I have to take advantage of every moment. That is true. That is true. It is very, very important. That I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that's really important. We do have to take advantage of every day. Okay, so one thing I want to work on is just pronunciation. If we look at have to, or we look at has to, these are the verbs that we're going to be looking at today. And it's really important that when we do say have to, North American English, especially in Canada, in America, we are going to join these two words together. And have to is going to sound more like hafta. Hafta. Okay, have to is going to be sounding like hafta. And then has to is going to be hasta. Hasta. So it's really, really important that we try using this pronunciation as well. So have to, we change it to hafta. Has to is hasta. Now, of course, when you're writing it, please write it normally. But when you're speaking it, use this condensed pronunciation. So we've got a good sentence here. It says, I have to go to the post office. Okay, so I have to go to the post office. She has to meet her boss. She has to meet her boss. So very important that we do condense the pronunciation. So have to. What does it mean? It means obligation, necessity, or requirement. Obligation, necessity, or requirement. Yeah, trying to. I'm trying to. Very good. Yeah, we love to. Going to, gonna. So yeah, we do like combining, linking words together to sort of quicken our pronunciation. So basically, uh, your pronunciation of have to is really important. But what does it mean? What does have to mean? Have to means it's an obligation, it's a necessity, it's a requirement. So if you're required to do something, something is necessary for you to do. If you're obligated to do something, please use have to. Tadaimon, wow, thank you so much. You are so kind. I like your username as well, Tadaimon. Okay, so obligation, necessity, requirement. Now, one thing I want to say, a lot of people will use must a lot. Like must is a very popular verb, and people like to use must instead of have to. It's okay sometimes, but they are a little bit different. Now, the way I would separate these two, right? External versus internal. Okay, so if something is like a rule, if something is a rule or it's a law, if someone outside is telling you that something is required or necessary, please use have to. Okay. But must is usually more internal. It's inside. It's my personal feeling. It's my personal decision. Right? So I really must exercise. I really must exercise. Right? That's more personal. I have to. I have to wake up at 9 tomorrow. It's an obligation. I have a meeting in the morning. All right. So we've got the two. That's the way we use have to. Now, how do we make the sentence? It's quite simple. Have to is always going to be followed by a base verb, a main verb. So here is a positive sentence. I have to finish my homework by tomorrow. I have to finish my homework by tomorrow. This is something, it's external. Your teacher is telling you that it's necessary. You are obligated to finish homework. So you use have to. Okay. We could also go negative, right? So if I do negative, it's going to be don't, doesn't have to plus a base verb. Here it says you don't have to come if you don't want to. You don't have to come if you don't want to. So this is saying that something is not necessary. Something is not necessary. All right, that means you don't have to do it. It's not required to. You're not required to do it. It's not necessary. You don't have to come. Okay, it's your choice. You don't have to. Now, of course, we've got questions as well. Here today, I'm just going to look at the yes/no question. So it's do, does, subject, have to. And then again, of course, that base verb. Do we have to wear a uniform? Do we have to wear a uniform? So when you went to school, or if you're going to school, do you have to wear a uniform? Is it required? Is it a rule? Jana, yes, mustn't is like forbidden. Yeah, it means like you're not allowed to do it. All right, so that's a really good point there. So mustn't. You mustn't means forbidden. So it's that act, that the base verb, you are not allowed to do it. You mustn't. Okay, great point, Jenna. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start off quite simple. We're going to go to some fill in the blank exercises. All right. Yes, shan't as well, Fadibers. Very formal English. I don't think I've ever said that in my life, but definitely we have that. So I don't want to go over too much about the grammar here, because I think the more exercises we do, the better idea you'll get about when we use it, how we use it. All right, so remember, it's just if something's required, it's external obligation. It's kind of like a law or a rule. Okay, so what we'll do next is all you have to do is fill in the blank. You have to use have to, so that's easy. You always choose have to or has to, but you have to think of the main verb as well. Okay, and we'll do like maybe 5 or 6 of these, and then we'll move on to the next speaking part. So number one says, I something the report by Friday, or my boss will be upset. Now, of course, we're going to have to, but we have to think of the next verb. What's this next verb that I'll put here? All right, yeah, I have to finish the report, Jana, perfect. I have to submit the report. Yeah, there's so many things we can put here. I have to finish the report. Well, let's try to make this even bigger. It seems awfully small on the screen. Okay, so I have to finish the report. Now, other verbs that you could use, I like submit. Fadibers, you said that one. Similar to submit, we can say hand in. These are all other verbs we can do. Submit and hand in are the same meaning. Okay, perfect. Let's look at number 2. We have to something early tomorrow to catch the train. Now remember, these are just going to be kind of warm-up exercises. Get you warmed up using have to plus a verb. The main part of the lesson, which is you making sentences, that's going to come very soon. All right, so Jana, we got have to wake up. Perfect. We have to wake up. Now, we could also say get up if you wanted. Same meaning. Wake up, get up. Both of these have the same meaning. Fadibers, yeah, there you go. Get up. Perfect. All right, what about number 3? It's a question now. Does he something the meeting, or can he skip it? Does he something the meeting, or can he skip it? I'll keep number 2 on the screen just in case people are still on number 2. I want to kind of move fairly quickly through this section. All right, Jana, join. I like it. I like it. Have to join. Any other words that we can think of instead of join? All right. Fibers, partake. I like that. I'm just going to make it a little, I'm going to add one word. I'm going to add one word to this. And this one word is going to be partake in. Partake in. Okay, partake in. Participate in. Okay. We could say attend. We could say go to. There's so many verbs we could say here. But yeah, I like that, partake. That's a great verb. I use that verb a lot in many situations. So yeah, partake. All right, let's go to number 4. Number 4 says you don't something for the tickets. They are free. What would you answer here? All right, we got Jenna, have to pay for. Fighting Boys have to pay for. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, you don't have to pay for the tickets. They are free. Which is a very rare thing, I think. You don't have to pay for the tickets. Excellent. Let's keep number 4 on the screen. Let's move number 5 up. Let's zoom out a bit to fit it all in. All right. She's something harder if she wants to pass the exam. Any other alternatives? Any other options? You know what? What I would say, you don't have to wait in line for the tickets. They're free. Okay. You don't have to pay me back for the tickets. They're free. I would say they were free, but that would still work. She has to study harder if she wants to pass the exam. She has to cram harder if she wants to pass the exam. Yeah. So has to is decided, of course. I'll put that there. And then the other options, like you said, the main verbs here, we've got study, cram. Those are probably the best 2 choices there. All right. What about number 6? They something the house before the guests arrive. Oh, Fighting Birds, I like that. Hit the books. Make sure it's S there. Hit the books. She has to hit the books harder if she wants to pass the exam. Not hit the bottle. Yes. Hit the bottle is a lot funner, though. Jenna, number 6. They have to clean the house before the guests arrive. Good. Have to clean the house, tidy up the house. And we've got 4 more in this section. Then we're going to move to the speaking part. So number 7, do we something anything to the party, or is everything provided? Do we something anything to the party, or is everything provided? Do we have to just wipe the house? Wipe, we're not really going to wipe a house. We'd wipe a surface, maybe wipe the table, wipe the windows. But for house, I don't know if we would say wipe the house. Number 7, do we have to, so you've got fighting boards here. Do we have to cater anything? Cater would be good if we were saying for the party. For the party. If it's for the party, then I would say cater. But it's going to be to the party. Maybe, yeah, I would go bring. Do we have to bring anything to the party? Or is everything provided? All right. Do we have to bring anything to the party? Is everything provided? Very good. He didn't something yesterday because it was a holiday. What about number 8? 8, 9, and 10, and then we can move to the fun part. Sure, Jenna, you didn't have to study yesterday. Fighting boards didn't have to work yesterday. I like both of those. All right, so didn't have to study, work, get up early. Go to bed early. All right, and then we have number 9 just below that. We something until the rain stops before going outside. Didn't have to sweat for a loaf of bread. Okay, nice. All right, number 9, we something until the rain stops before going outside. We something until the rain stops before going outside. Fighting board was perfect. Wait. Wait. We have to wait until the rain stops before going outside. Perfect. And the last one. Number 10, use something a helmet when riding a bike for safety. Use something a helmet when riding a bike for safety. And we've got Jenna have to wear, fighting boards have to wear. Perfect. Any type of clothing or accessory, the most common verb to use is wear. So you have to wear. Okay. You could say other things, put on, use. There's multiple options first. Safety first. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It is really important. They actually changed the rule, the law here in Japan. Last year, I believe, they changed the law saying that you had to wear a helmet. But it's not really that strict of a law. It's a law, but if you don't wear it, they're not going to do anything. Kind of an interesting law. Okay, but great. So now we're warmed up. We know that have to. Don't have to, or the question, do you have to, does he have to? We're talking about obligation, requirement, something that's necessary, necessity. It's usually external. There's outside pressure for this. Internal is more, must. So what we're going to do now is, and we're going to start off, again, not too difficult. We're going to progressively get more difficult. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a situation. So if you look at the example on the screen here, I've got the situation is I have a broken leg. I have a broken leg, right? That's my situation. So after you read the situation, you have to make a sentence using have to, of course, with a main verb, base verb. So example sentence, answer is here. You have to go to the hospital. You have to go to the hospital. You know, this is an obligation. This is necessary. It's not internal feeling, right? You're injured. You have to go. All right. So what we're going to do now is I'll give you the situation. Here's your first situation. It says, before you ride a train, what do you have to do? Okay. Now, this you, I also want to make a note. What do you have to do? Now, this you doesn't mean you specifically. It means all people. It means in general. A lot of times in English, we love to ask, what do you have to do? This means all people. It's in general. So my subject, when I answer the question, it's good to say you have to, not I have to, because you here means everybody. Okay, so Thunderbirds, you got your answer here. You have to book the ticket earlier, not the, but a. You have to book a ticket early, not earlier, but you have to book a ticket early. You have to reserve a ticket. Reserve a ticket. You have to, Jenna, you have to pay for a ticket. Yeah, perfect. All of those work. Right? You have to buy a ticket. All right, you have to buy a ticket. Okay, so not so difficult so far. Let's go to the next one, number 2. Number 2 says, I went to the doctor, and my doctor, she said, my cholesterol was high, as well as my weight. All right, so what does she say to me? Now, this one is specific. This one's specific. Now, you can make this answer very simple. You can just say you have to, or I have to. Or you can make a reported speech. So if you want to challenge yourself, right? Easy answer, I have to. Advanced answer, she said I had to. Okay. She said, let's use that as the advanced answer. Okay, you have to cut down here. Great phrasal verb, Jenna. Great phrasal verb. Just don't forget one thing we're going to say with cut down. Cut down always needs an on, right? Cut down on something. You cut down on something. That preposition we need to put. All right, so you could say cut down on sugar. Okay. Let's say, Fibers, you got, hey, you have to plan for your life. I know that's a typo. For example, you have to take your time during the week. And take a regular vigorous exercise. Here, exercise is a verb, so we don't need to put take. So you can just say, and exercise vigorously. And exercise vigorously. Exercise regularly. Yes, cut down on, cut back on. Perfect. It's going to cut down on sugar. Yeah. Now, reported speech would say, she said I had to, cut down on oily food and alcohol. She said I had to exercise. So take regular, vigorous exercise. Take I wouldn't use. Maybe I would use do regular, vigorous exercise. Do maybe is a better verb here. All right, number 3, a little less information. A little less information. Number 3 says, just in a movie theater. Tell me all of the requirements, all of the obligations, things that are necessary in a movie theater. There you go. Probably was nice. Okay, so Jenna said, you don't have to make noise. So this one's a little different because don't have to means it's not necessary. It's not necessary. So here, about noise, I would say you can't make noise or you shouldn't make noise. Don't have to means it's okay. You don't have to do it. It's not necessary. For example, if you come to my house and you say, oh, I'm going to bring a cake, I'm going to bring dessert. But I say, oh, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You don't have to. I'm making a cake. Right? So it's not necessary. So if for making noise, I would use shouldn't. You shouldn't make noise. You can't make noise, but my shouldn't is the best. Here we go. Fighting Boys, I see the corrections already. They said you had to be silent like your smartphone on airplane mode, fellas. Perfect. Yes. That's what I would do. If this is not report, if I'm just going to go simple, all general people, you have to turn off your cell phone. You have to turn your cell phone to vibrate. All right, so I got 3 example sentences here. You have to turn off your cell phone. You have to turn your cell phone to vibrate, or you have to be mindful of your neighbors. All right, so it's always vibrate. It's not. I know in Japan a lot of people will say manner mode, which is the vibration mode. Manner mode we never say. It's always vibrate. Okay, I got a typo here. I'm gonna cross this out. Okay, there we go. That's the word it should be there. I have a strong recommendation about a restaurant and want my friend to know. All right, so let's just imagine you went to a restaurant and you loved it. It's amazing. It's like, wow. Very strong recommendation. You want your friend to know. What would we say here? I like it, Jana. Nice. This restaurant is amazing. You have to try their food. Excellent. Perfect. And I really want you to pay attention to how I said it. This restaurant is amazing. So I elongate the word amazing. I make it longer. You have to. So I emphasize the word have to. You have to try their food. It just tells you you're really excited about it. And it's a strong recommendation. All right. So you got the opposite feeling here. They have to change their menu. I am really fed up with their routine. Not this routine, but their routine. The routine. I would say their. And just don't forget, I am. I am really fed up. Yeah, perfect. There you go. All right, excellent. Number 5, travel. Travel abroad, airport. So many things we can say here. Traveling abroad and airport. These are just your sort of theme. They're just ideas. You can use any topic in this sort of category. Yeah, you have to check your passport. What do you have to check your passport for, Jana? What do you have to check your passport? What can we say here? If we wanted to give more information about checking the passport, like more specific information, what am I checking? We've got I had a chance to travel abroad with this huge airplane. Airplane, maybe not airport. In terms of checking passport, because it's true, we have to check. But there's different things that we have to check. Airplane, yes, okay, that's what I thought. Fiber was nice. Now let's make this one sentence a little bit more advanced. You have to check your passport is a great sentence, but we can make it even more advanced. You have to check your passport to see if you have it. You have to check your passport to see if you have it. I could also say you have to check your passport to see if it has expired, or to see if it is still valid. Right? You're checking to see if you actually have your passport with you. That could be one. But maybe this is, before you are going to the airport, you've booked your flight, you're going to check your passport to make sure it's valid. It hasn't expired. To see if it's your real passport. Yeah, sure. To see your photo. Yeah. Now, one thing I want to tell you guys, I'm living here in Tokyo, and this is not the case in Tokyo. I'm from Canada. I used to live in the US. I know Fadibos knows this. One thing about the US, and it really probably depends on the airport you go to, but if you go to some of these bigger airports like LA, where I used to live, LAX, JFK Airport in New York, the one thing you have to do, it's really, really important. It's so necessary. You have to check in 3 hours before your flight. You have to check in 3 hours before your flight. Now, a lot of airports, like if you go to Vancouver or, if you're here in Tokyo, it's 2 hours. But the US is 3 hours now. Used to be 2 hours. It used to be 2 hours, but is now 3 hours. If you're ever traveling to the US and you're coming back from the US, coming back home, make sure you know that you have to check in 3 hours. I've never been to Colorado Airport. I've never been there. The only airports I've been to in the U.S., I've been to a lot in the U.S. Big ones I've been to were probably LAX in LA, JFK in New York, which isn't that big. Chicago, O'Hara Airport, which is massive. Dallas, Miami, Las Vegas, San Francisco. Most of those are quite small. Yeah, but 3 hours if you're leaving LA, if you're leaving the US to go back home. 2 hours if you're going wherever your home airport is. And it's just, a lot of people will say, no, it's 2 hours, but trust me, it's 3. And it's just the amount of people using the airport, plus the security check is so slow. Their security check is slow and just very, very thorough. They're very strict with their security now. So it takes a long time just to get through the security. Checking in at the counter is fine. Getting through security takes a long time. All right. There's more things about traveling abroad or the airport. There's still many, many things you have to do. These are good answers. What about baking a cake? Baking a cake. I like the idea of baking, and sometimes I do bake. Maybe I'll make a cookie here and there. I've made cakes before. I like the idea of cooking or baking. I love cooking. I like the idea of baking until I start baking. And then I realize how much work it is. So what are some obligations? What are some requirements? What are some necessities about baking a cake? I have my answer. I'm gonna wait to hear your guys' answers before I write mine. All right, so what do you have to do? If you're baking a cake, what do you have to do? Jenna, I like it. You have to make sure that you bought all the ingredients, like sugar. Yes. Yes. Jenna, if you didn't have sugar, what would you do? Would you go to the supermarket or like a nearby store and buy it? In other words, you have to make sure you add a precise amount of pudding for a crunchier taste. For a crunchier taste. Really? Wow, I did not know that. Instant pudding, really? So you get a crunchier taste if you put instant pudding. Okay, so for a crunchier taste. That's a good tip. I'll try that. Okay, perfect. And Jana, the reason I asked you about what, if you didn't have sugar, what would you do? Would you go to the store and buy it? The reason I asked that is if you've watched, American TV shows or movies, you'll often see that, sometimes someone doesn't have a particular ingredient, maybe sugar, and they will go to their neighbor and they will say, hey, can I borrow a cup of sugar? And it seems like, oh, this is just some crazy thing that they're doing on TV or the movies, but it's actually true. It's actually true. We will go to our neighbor and ask to borrow a cup of sugar before going to the market. Now, obviously, you'd have to be friendly with your neighbor, but yeah, it's weird. We will always ask our neighbors before going, which is, I guess, nice. It shows you how much community interaction you have. Yeah, I like both of your guys' answer. You have to make sure you have all the ingredients. You have to make sure you add instant pudding for a crunchier taste. My answer here is you have to follow the recipe exactly. Okay, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to, instead of exactly, same meaning, okay, to a T. Okay, to a T. And actually, I spelled it wrong here. 2 E's, sorry. To a T means that it's something you're following it perfectly. All right, you're following it perfect, exactly. So you borrow from your grandma. Wow, that's even better. Mind you, John, if my grandma were living near me, I wouldn't borrow it from my grandma. I would just ask my grandma to make it. Fighting words, yes. To a T means perfectly. It means exactly. Okay, so you have to follow the recipe to a T. Yeah, baking is a science. So you have to really measure everything, follow the recipe to a T. All right, let's move on to number 7. Sanitation workers come tomorrow. Sanitation workers are coming tomorrow. First of all, what's a sanitation worker? Yes, stevia is really popular these days. What is a sanitation worker? So sanitation, sanitize means clean. It means clean. They're like cleaners. Okay, I'm going to give you some more hints. It's more specific. They will come. They're not going to come inside your house. They're not going to come inside your house. They're going to be coming outside. And depending on where you live, maybe they come once or twice a week. Where I live, they come twice a week. In fact, they came this morning. They came and they removed something. What are they removing? What do sanitation workers remove? What do they take? Yeah, a little different. Litter is different. Litter is, if I throw garbage onto the street, if I throw trash onto the street. But yeah, trash maybe. Not litter, but trash. Garbage, yeah. Yeah. So a very not polite word, I guess, would be a garbage man, garbage woman, garbage workers. These are people who will come and take your garbage away. The official name of this position is called a sanitation worker. They're coming tomorrow. Sanitations are coming tomorrow morning. What do you have to do? I had to do it this morning. Garbage collector. Perfect. Yeah, I remember. Good. I had to do something this morning. They came this morning. They come every Thursday. So what do you have to do? The sanitation workers are coming tomorrow. So we now know that, yeah, they collect garbage. They're going to remove it. They're going to take it, and they're going to take it somewhere. All right. So, okay, Fedboys, you got, you're going to use this theme. You went to a different sentence, a really complicated sentence. Let's see. We have to collect and recycle as much as possible to decrease the negative impact that we impose on the environment. Wow. Perfect sentence. Grammatically perfect. Grammatically perfect. And you are absolutely correct. We have to collect and recycle as much as possible to decrease the negative impact that we impose on the environment. I really am impressed with how much this country does in terms of recycling. I'm sure they had a bad history of things, but right now they do a really good job. Canada, where my country, we are a massive country, huge country, very beautiful, lots of nature, fairly clean, but I don't think we recycle as much as we should on a personal basis. I think each individual. But great sentence, Fighting Words. For me, sanitation workers are coming tomorrow. The simple thing I have to do, I have to take out my garbage. I have to put out my garbage. Both are fine. You saw shredded machines in your vicinity. Okay. Wow. I have no idea what to do with the garbage here because there's so much garbage in Tokyo. It magically disappears. Good. You saw. I like you corrected it. Okay. Let's move. I'm going to put 2 on here. This is spelled wrong. It should say movie. Movie. 2 typos. Oh no. The movie starts at 8 p.m. The theater is 1 hour away. Movie starts at 8 p.m. The theater is 1 hour away. Excellent, Five Bears. We have to hurry up. We're running a few minutes late. Perfect. For me, my answer for this one, we have to leave by 6:30 at the latest, because I want to see the previews and make sure I get some popcorn. Jenna, we have to move early so we won't be late. Perfect. I would switch yours 5 minutes. Switch that order there. Switch the order. We made it to the theater, but it was nip and tuck. I would say it was nip and tuck, but we made it to the theater. It was nip and tuck, but we made it to the theater. Just, I would add the nip and tuck at the beginning. And for me, yeah, I always have to make sure I get to see the previews and have enough time to get popcorn. All right. Number 9 is, we did airport 1 already. But here's just before boarding a flight. Let's see if you have a different answer. This is before boarding. It's not traveling abroad and airport. This is going to be more specific. And not it. Yeah, I think it's just a typo, but it was nip and tuck. So before boarding a flight. So I mentioned security in the US. What can we say about security? So before boarding a flight, what are the things we need to be doing? What do we have to do? And more specifically, if we're talking about security. For me, what I would say here, we have to get through security. We have to clear security. So clear is often used. A lot of times when we're talking about the airport, we're going to clear security and we're going to clear customs. And customs is obviously when you're arriving at your destination. So, but we use the verb clear a lot. That means get through, to pass through. All right, before boarding a flight, we have to buy some things from duty free. We have to buy some souvenirs from duty free. All right, let's do a couple more. I'm going to hand pick the next ones. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go 17 here. I'm going to go 17. I like this one. Jana, perfect. Clear, pass through, excellent. 5 words. We have to make sure everything. We have to make sure everything is sorted out and done, like getting through all the security measurements. Perfect. Is sorted out. So 17, a police officer puts his sirens on behind you. A police officer puts his siren or her siren on behind you. What would we say here? A sentence using have to. Excellent. You got the perfect verb, pull over. You have to pull over. Yeah, you have to pull over when you see the police siren or when you hear the police siren. Both see or hear. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you hear it. But I like that. Whenever a police officer, police car, they put their sirens on, then you have to pull over. You have to pull over. All right, so you have to pull over. All right, so I added a longer sentence. This is really a lot for America. This is a lot for America. You have to pull over and you have to put your hands on the steering wheel as the police officer approaches. I think we have a question here. So pull over. I know we have another phrasal verb for that. You could say you have to come to a stop. Come to a stop, maybe. Pull to the side. Pull to the side. Come to a stop. Yeah, but in America, especially in America, when the police officers come into your car, and it's probably more for guys, we have to put our hands on the steering wheel. They just want to make sure we're not going to do anything crazy. Okay, let's do one more, and then I'll leave one for homework. Pull to the side. Pull in is going to be more into a space, into a parking spot. So, if I have a parking spot, you're going to pull into the parking space or into the parking spot. Okay, so you pull in and then you pull out of a parking spot. All right, so what I want to do... All right, number 15, we'll do it together. Number 15 is you're at the supermarket counter and realize you forgot your wallet. You're at the supermarket counter and you realize you forgot your wallet. Fighting Boards, thank you so much. Always. Thank you guys so much for that. I appreciate that. Yes. So please like the lesson, please. If you're new, subscribe. I just put out a new video just before our live lesson. It's a listen and repeat video. It's really great for practicing your listening. So you'll hear a sentence and you repeat it. Especially if you're going to take the Versant test. It's like a English proficiency test. So I just put that out just before the live lesson started. So check that out as well if you guys have time. So you're at the supermarket counter and realize you forgot your wallet. All right, you have to be watchful. You have to be watchful to bring any essential items like wallets. Jenna, so you're in the last year of high school and your channel helps me a lot to improve my English. Thanks. Thank you. Keep going. Thank you very much. And I'm glad that it's helping you. I'm glad that it's helping you. It's that makes me feel happy. So definitely keep studying. I'll definitely keep putting out videos and doing these live lessons. So yeah, keep at it. And I'm always here if you have any questions. I wish I were in my last year of high school. Now, for me, number 15, I like this one. This has happened to me before. They've already rung me up. They've rung all my stuff up, and I realize, oh God, I don't have my wallet. You have to hope they take e-money. Thank you, Fighting Boards. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So every country has their own type of e-money. I believe in America, it's the most popular one is Venmo. Japan here, it's PayPay or Suica or Passmo or Line Money or there's so many different ones. Amazon Pay. There's so many different types. Or you have to go back home and get your wallet. You have to be very embarrassed and go home and get your wallet. All right, so have to. Simple enough. It's really simple. But the one thing I want you to make sure you guys remember, it is kind of external obligation. External meaning it's outside pressure to do something. It's a necessity. It's a requirement. And must is more internal. It's my feeling. It's not really being, I'm not really being pressured outside, but I'm pressuring myself to do something. Interact. Yes. Yes. Very good. I like that. Yeah, it's true. Interact. I guess debit card, I think, right? We have that in Canada. So anybody who wants extra homework, this one here, I will leave for homework. If you want to answer it right now, Fighting Boards, Jana, if you want to answer it right now, feel free, you can answer it. But everybody else, this is for homework. Leave it in the comment section. You're going on a hiking trip with changing weather conditions. Could be raining, could be windy, could be thunderstorms, lightning, or it could be sunny. It's changing. So make a sentence using have to. So I'll put that on the screen as well. You have to make a sentence using have to. All right. I do have a question. Fighting Boards, what time is it where you are? And Jana as well. What time is it where you are? Is it morning or is it night? It's night here in Tokyo. It's 9 a.m. Okay, 9 a.m. All right, so we're quite early. Wow, you're an early riser. That's awesome. So you're just starting your Thursday, I think, right, Jana? Or Friday Boys? I just finished my Thursday. Thursday was nice, Friday Boys. I'm already done it. I'm already on to Friday. All right, guys. Great job. Friday Boys, great job. Jana, great job. It was awesome to talk with you guys as always. I really appreciate you guys joining. Hopefully this lesson helped. I think situational training is really important. It's always important to think and make your own sentences. So hopefully this is helping you guys. We have to make a plan for your trip before hiking up, because without any good plan, you are lost. Perfect. Derrien, Fatty Bros, Derrien, you're welcome. Yeah, you are lost, or you will get lost. You will get lost. Maybe you would say, will get lost. You know, you will become lost. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you guys all. I'm not sure when I'm going to do my next live lesson. I'm Thursday night. This time right now, I'll always do the live lesson. But I'm thinking about changing the other days. So I don't think I'll be doing a live lesson Saturday morning. I just think it's too early or too late for most people. So I'm going to try to change the time I do those lessons. I'll keep everyone updated, but Thursday will continue to be the same. I'll probably try to find some different times to do it, just to make it easier for people. All right, but I will let you guys know about that, but make sure you guys watch the other videos I put out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys all definitely in the next lesson. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. See you guys. Bye-bye. Good night or good morning.